As we close out the show, welcoming onto the line our good friend from Baltimore, the host of Stay in Your Lane, Olympic gold medalist, and we just found out we are going to soon have to remedy this, future Florida Gator Hall of Famer Bernard Hollywood Williams. Bernard, we just took a look at the Florida Gator Hall of Fame not too long ago. We found out there was a notable name missing.
Yeah.
There is an Olympic gold medalist that is missing from the Florida Gator Hall of Fame. We are going to correct this oversight.
Yes. B-dubs.
Well, you know what? Hey, man, it's good to see y'all, man. Well, I can't see y'all, but it's good to hear from y'all.
I'm glad you brought that up because it has been about 10 years since Bernard and I have laid eyes on each other, going back to the Gainesville Comedy Showcase a long, long time ago. We've known each other about 15 years, but it's been about 10 years since I've seen him. He's never laid eyes on the Beastie.
No.
He's never laid eyes on the Beastie, but I do want a prediction. You see Bernard Hollywood Williams, there is going to be a wrestling match on February 28th at Props Tap Room and Brewery right here in Fort Walton Beach with our good friends of Combat Sport Pro Wrestling. There will be a tag team match featuring myself, Robbie Shanks, against Collin the Beast Bastor, each of us with a tag team partner. But I want to know, Bernard, you've laid eyes on me, you've never laid eyes on the Beastie, but where would you put your money?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how big the Beastie is. If the Beastie is outweighs you, I'm going with the Beastie.
He is a former offensive lineman. I will give him that edge.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going with the Beastie all day.
Think of King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy times 2.
I will say that I'm the face in this wrestling match. I'm clearly the good guy. I am on the side of truth, right, and justice.
Yep.
As we seek to find out the truth about the collusion into our score prediction contest, the stolen beef jerky between Collin and Irish Bill. So
and I'm here to kick butt and chew bubble gum, and unfortunately, my friend, I'm all out of bubble gum.
Oh!
Somebody has had too many Mountain Dews this morning.
I don't drink Mountain Dew.
So
it's coffee.
I love it.
Too many cups of coffee, perhaps. Bernard, you are the host of our Stay in Your Lane segment, and I've got some good ones today. And we're going to start with we talked about this earlier, the New York Giants. Michael Strahan. You big Michael Strahan fan? Do you like Good Morning America?
Yeah. I think he's a pretty clean-cut dude. A champion. I like him. He's cool. He's awesome.
Absolutely. He's a champion. And I think we would all agree that the New York Giants have dropped the ball on this. Michael Strahan has been retired long enough. His number should have been retired by the New York Giants at this point, right?
Well, no. Sometimes with greatness, people don't realize it until years down the line. You know, you got guys who are just getting in the Hall of Fame in the NBA and NFL, and they're like in their 50s. You know what I mean?
Okay. So sometimes you have to wait, if you didn't, you got to wait a little bit for your turn to come across.
Yeah, you got to do. Yeah, sometimes you're so great, and it happens so fast that the world finally catches up because the world is oversaturated with a lot of talent.
Sounding like Deion Sanders over here.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into that, too, the Deion Sanders comments about the Hall of Fame being too saturated.
Sanders, you guys are 2 peas in a pod.
I agree with Deion Sanders' comments.
I do, too.
However, I am of the opinion that if we were to start eliminating names from the NFL Hall of Fame of folks who may not have the stats or history to deserve to be there, Deion's on my list of cuts. So I'm just throwing that out there. Deion would be high on my list of cuts if I started eliminating names from the Hall of Fame. So here's why I want to ask.
But he's a champion.
Yeah.
Is that because you're a Florida Gator and he's a Florida State Seminole?
No. He's a champion, right?
He is. Yeah, he's a two-time Super Bowl champion with multiple teams. He was on the 95 team with the 49ers. He was on the Super Bowl teams with the Cowboys. So he's
I think he should be in there, but that's just me.
I don't know that he was.
So why wouldn't he be in there? I'm just trying.
Because for me, he was overhyped. The primetime mentality caused him to be overhyped, and I thought because he was overhyped, it overplayed what he actually did on the field. That's just me. Y'all can hate me for it.
He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, 9-time first-team All-Pro, and Defensive Player of the Year, and you think that's overhyped?
I think he was overhyped to all those things. I think the primetime...
Numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
He has the numbers.
I stand by my opinion. I stand by my opinion.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to get back to you
Okay.
with the stay in the lane topic. Back to Michael Strahan. So the New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning just retired, and the New York Giants quickly announced that they're going to be retiring Eli Manning's number. Now, the key to this is the New York Giants made the announcement. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Strahan makes the announcement himself that the New York Giants will be retiring his number. Should he be making his own announcement, or should he stay in his lane?
Well, if he got word that they're going to be retiring his jersey, then he should be the first one to do it. But if he doesn't know and he's just saying it, then he probably should stay in his lane until they let him know when they are going to retire your jersey.
See, that's what I don't know about this story. I don't know if somebody from the Giants made a phone call to him and said, hey, we're going to start planning your ceremony so that we can retire your number, and he's just like leaking the information, or if, like you say, he's trying to force their hand because, hey, there's supposed to be an order to these things. These guys are supposed to go in a certain line, and maybe with the recent retirement of Eli Manning, he is skipping the line just a little bit. All right, so here is the story we really need to get to. This was our lead story of the day, and it comes from close by to us in Pensacola, Florida. So I need to know, as I tell you this story, teacher or student, which one of these should have stayed in their lane? And it's a bit of a long story, so I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. Is that okay?
Okay.
So this comes from not one of our local news sources, but this comes from gishgallup.com. And the headline is, Florida gym teacher arrested for farting on a student. I was waiting for that reaction. I was waiting for that. So a Florida gym teacher, Davis Allen Darden, he's 38 years old. He's taught at the school for 15 years, has deliberately denied passing gas on 16-year-old Graham Britton's face during a wrestling demonstration session. Robin Minstrel, who's a classmate, says, I saw the whole thing. Mr. Darden is pretty rough on us all the time, and Grammy is a real smartass. So I think Mr. Darden just wanted to teach him a lesson or something like that. The principal of Pensacola High School said in the report to the police that Mr. Darden didn't intentionally let one slip out as he pinned the young Briton to the gym mat. However, other witnesses say the 16-year-old had repeatedly taunted the gym teacher in numerous ways, including making raspberry noises with his mouth and threatening to fling livestock into his Castle Rock Drive yard. I don't know what flinging livestock means. Does that mean anything to you?
Maybe like chicken or pig or live or anything dealing with a farm animal, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. So not only is the only Monty Python reference that he farted in his general direction, Grammy didn't know when to stop, but when he told Mr. Darden that his wife smelled of elderberries, that's when he'd had it. Collin wants to give the 16-year-old lots of credit for being able to quote Monty Python movies, by the way. It was at that point, according to the police report, which was filed early this morning, that Darden flipped the scrawny Briton onto his stomach and let one rip so loud that it echoed around the newly renovated multi-purpose gym. The unfortunately named classmate Ariel Zoot says you could have heard a pin drop, who watched in horror as Darden released his stench into the arena. It was certainly juicy, he said, and long too, but it was the smell. I bet he had been brewing that one up since last night. According to his lawyer, Mr. Darden is completely innocent of these charges. His attorney says, although Mr. Darden doesn't deny accidentally passing gas, he vigorously denies deliberately doing it. Accidents happen. So, Bernard, there is some question that perhaps young Grammy was a bit of a smartass, but did the teacher go too far? So which of these, teacher or student, needed to stay in his lane?
I say the student need to stay in his lane. He need to toughen up. That's not the first time he's going to catch a fart rustling, and it's not going to be the last time either.
He was lucky he was in that environment with a teacher, and it was only a fart. You do that in the wrong situation, you run your mouth a little too much, it can end differently, right, Bernard?
Absolutely.
Bernard, always appreciate you being a part of the show. Thank you for giving us a call from Baltimore. Getting ready for the Super Bowl this weekend. It's going to be a heck of a time. I hope good luck to all with your scores and predictions. Collin, who is our beast of the day before we get out of here?
The South Carolina number one ranked women's basketball team held Ole Miss to 0 points in the first quarter for the first time in history. Ole Miss had 2 points at halftime. The final score was South Carolina 87, Ole Miss 32.
Bernard, you ever seen that in your life, even in a women's basketball game, a team being held to 2 points at halftime?
Yes, I've actually seen those. I'm not going to say which school. I don't want to put them on blast, but I've seen it. It's awful.
In an SEC game, no less. That's the thing that really got me. Bernard, always love you being a part of the show. Collin and Callie are up next. It's Beauty and the Beast right here on the ticket. Make sure you stay with us, and we will be back on Monday. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. You can listen to it right here on the ticket. Coverage starts at 1, kickoff at 5:30. See you Monday.